ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDbabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. Thank you to everyone who has joined by listening so far. Don't forget to follow so you never miss an episode, and also rate and review and share so others can find us too. Today's episode is hosted by me, Julez, and today we are going to be discussing parenting with ADHD, the double lens. Joining in on the discussion, we are joined by our guest, ADHD babes, Azeezat, Lucy and Nadia. Welcome, ladies, to the episode. Hi. So for our listeners, so they can get to know you a little bit better, can you introduce yourself, your pronouns, and a bit about what you do? Nadia, we'll start off with you.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Nadia. I am a teacher, but I'm also a creative, and my pronouns, are she, her.
Great. And over to you, Azeezat.
Hi, I'm Azeezat. My pronouns are she, her. I am a full-time solo mum of two, a therapist, and also lead editor for ADHD Babes. And I also co-facilitate Knit and Sit for ADHD Babes.
Yay. And over to you, Lucy.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy. I am a mum of three, and I have children in all stages. I've got a 15-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old. I am lead admin for ADHD Babes, and I also freelance as a executive assistant for female founders. Yes, so that's what I do.
So Nadia, we'll come back to you actually.
Okay.
So you can obviously mention how you are a parent, who you are a parent to. So yeah.
Sure. So I am a parent of two children. My eldest is 13, my son Camille, and I have a daughter, Nadia, aged 7.
Lovely. So, as I mentioned, today we are going to be talking about something that many ADHD parents experience, but rarely hear named. I like to call it the double lens. So parenting with ADHD often means you're seeing life through two perspectives at the same time. You're parenting your child, but you're also managing your own ADHD brain. So you're holding two experiences at once. The first lens is your child's world. And obviously there's a lot of you ladies have more than one child. So it's multiple children's worlds. And you are trying to understand their needs, their emotions, their behaviour and development. And the second lens, of course, is your own neurodivergent experience. So you may be managing executive functioning challenges, emotional regulation, sensory overwhelm, time blindness, fatigue or burnout. So parenting becomes more than guiding a child. It becomes navigating two nervous systems at the same time. So the first question is, have you ever felt like you're parenting and managing yourself at the same time? Let's start with you, Lucy.
Yeah, I do, especially as all my children are neurodivergent. My eldest is 15 and we're in the prime of prepping for GCSEs next year. And he's an ADHD like I am. And my middle is autistic. And my little girl, I think she's both. We've put her in for both. She's still waiting for her diagnosis. We had to wait till she was 6. And often I feel as though I am reparenting myself in a way, especially when I forget to fill in either of our prescriptions. So yeah, it can be a time. And I think we'll probably come on to that later, but like my lived experience does help me sort of like pause sometimes before like reacting how I would want to react. Yeah.
Cool. And yourself, Nadia?
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. I feel like I'm constantly managing my own emotions as well as my children's, which can be quite overwhelming. Um, and I think being a teacher, working in education, I'm around young people all the time. I work in a SEND college. And so I feel like I absorb all of that from the students, and I have to make sure I've got just enough so that I can come home and still manage my children. And very similarly to Lucy, my lived experience definitely gives me the patience that my parents didn't give to me to then give that to my children, because growing up there wasn't like, an understanding of what that even looked like. And so it was like, you haven't done this or you haven't done that. It was like, right, this is what's going to happen. But with my children, I just try to take a breath and then just sort of calm myself and sort of give myself time to process as well as give them time to process. That really, really helps. So, yeah, I definitely would say my lived experience is setting the foundations for how I want to sort of deal with their emotions as well as my own.
Mm.
That's really, really interesting to hear, because it feels like there is kind of like a similarity with how it is being neurodivergent and also having kind of like neurodivergent kids. Anyway, over to you, Aziza.
Um, okay, yes. So I definitely have felt like I'm parenting and managing myself at the same time. I feel like that's me every single day, like mo like because there's always stuff going on with me that like when I've got two kids, one's 10 and one's 8, and when like I was like pregnant with the first one, I did all this reading about kids' brains, neuroscience, development, nervous systems, and I just filled my mind with all of and then I was like doing this parenting course, parenting by connection, this, that, and and then one of the things, a major thing that stuck with me from all of that like research and reading that I did was the idea that learning to regulate yourself, learning to manage that's the key. However, I'm also one person, and sometimes it feels like, yeah, it's two kids against me, like help, you know? So it's like I really do try and put that time into looking after myself, by also like I do think there's like this kind of ADHD tendency to kind of like fixate or focus heavily on, okay, what do the kids need, what do the kids want, what do the kids da 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 da. And so it's really like a task to remind myself, hey, you're a person, you have needs too.
Yep.
What's going on with you? So I think there's definitely always that kind of like play between the two, and some days is more towards the kids, and I'm sitting there like, oh God, I'm a husk of a person, and some days I've kind of like, I've leaned back towards me again, and the kids are like kind of like running around, and I'm just like, okay, headphones on, I don't know, you guys are gonna have to resolve that fight yourself today. I can't help you, but I hope in the long term it balances out to be, good enough, So yeah,
Yeah, I've just got to jump in there to say I hear
absolutely.
you 100%. And I think I'm really bad at self-care when they're in the baby stage.
Mm.
Like, I feel like I suck at it so much. And then the minute they're a bit more self-sufficient, like now, they know not to speak to me for the first hour when I get home. I'm not gonna deal with you. I lock myself in the bedroom because I don't want to say things I regret. So I'm just being
Mm.
honest. So I leave. And like I feel like the older they get, the more selfish I can be with myself. Whereas like when they were babies, I couldn't do it. I was
It's really
drowning.
hard.
I
It's
was
really hard
drowning
when they're
so
babies
much. Yeah. And I was just like, I
because they
need
need.
space. And it's so
Mm.
sensually overwhelming that, and because like with my boys, I breastfed them for three
Touched out.
years each. I was touched out. I was like,
Mm.
someone needs to get off me. But I couldn't say that. I couldn't be like, ew, leave. Like I couldn't. I'm your food source. So, all right, I'll just have
Mm.
to like bear it. But yeah, and like talking about like parenting yourself, like I feel, and you talked about how like you give them grace, which you didn't receive.
Yeah.
I really, really resonate with that. But at the moment, I'm at this stage where there's this line between scaffolding them because they're neurodivergent and letting them learn from the consequences of their actions. And the line is so thin that sometimes I doubt myself. I was like, am I being mean? Am I being unfair? But at the same time, I'm like, I warned you about your P kit. I'm not taking it. You can get the negative points because I've taken it twice this week. Like,
You know,
that's where we're at.
you know what you said about oh God, you know, you just said about the line
Yeah.
between between okay, like because with mine, I'm seeing loads of traits, and we're doing our investigations, but there's no conclusive whatnots, right? But it's like I know for me, like, you know, I think we talk a little bit about like what goes on with how we were parented and then what we want to bring forward with our kids and what we don't want to bring forward. But I know for me, like my mum had me on lock. There was structure, there was a regimen. And I know that when that fell away, it was really kind of difficult. Like I felt like I was floating without that really strong, you know, these are the rules, this is the system. But at the same time, so on the one hand, I want them to know this is what it is, this is what's expected of you, this is da 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 da. But at the same time, I also want them to know how to build that themselves or know how to, yeah, okay, like, you know, oh, what day is PE? You're gonna have to go and look on the wall at your school. You're gonna have to ask your
Yeah.
teacher. You know, you're walking, you're talking in the world. If you want to watch a show, you know how to navigate and put the TV on. So, do you know what I mean? So,
And
yeah.
these days, they have no excuse. They've got an app with their timetable on.
Absolutely. I wish I'd had that. The
Like,
amount
I
of
was
times I
like,
lost my
yeah,
timetable, I wish I'd had an app on my phone.
Oh, they're all in
seriously.
secondary school now. Oh,
Yeah.
I was
something
like,
to
what's
look
your
forward
homework
to.
diary? There was like, what homework diary is on this app? And
Wow.
I can
You're,
see, I can see.
I'm even thinking, how lucky are they? Because I remember, like,
Yeah,
we used to have it on our planners, and you just have it
yeah,
folded
exactly.
on your planner, and you don't lose that planner.
No,
Like,
you don't.
you
You
lost,
don't lose that
you
planner.
lost the planner, then it's finished, and then you had week 1 and week 2. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
so
I
yeah, this
definitely,
So,
I can definitely totally relate to what you're saying, both of you. And I feel like what the kind of skills that we need to make sure that our young people and our own children develop is like the ability to have independence and to build that
Mm,
resilience. I think as parents, we are very conscious of the way that we were parented and we want to do things right. But sometimes we take away learning opportunities for them to, think, okay, I did that and that didn't go right, or I forgot my kit and, like you said, I got detention, so that's on me. Those are learning
mm,
opportunities that we had for ourselves. And I think if we step in and say, oh, okay, I'll bring it for you this time, they get used to that. They get someone always catching them when they fall. But we didn't have that because my mum was at work, my dad was at work. So if I forgot this, then I'd had to go back and get it myself. But
mm,
there is a fine line, isn't there? Because we don't want to
yeah.
be too hard with them, because I feel like, when you come home and just like being a parent, it's the one time in your life where like you should feel like really supported and loved and know that like it's a safe and nurturing space. However, I need to prepare you for hard times because the world is tough out there as
mm,
well. So it's like
mm.
it's difficult to find that balance, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
And you
And I
know
feel like
what?
sometimes I overcompensate and I catch myself
Yeah.
because, like, I, I would describe myself as a bulldozer mum. I
Okay.
clear up all those obstacles. I want you to be nice
Mm,
and safe and free and no stress because I felt like I dragged myself up. No shade to my mother, she tried her best.
mm,
But like, I didn't feel like I had someone to be like, oh my God, I'm having a hard day. Like, you know? And and then I was like, but actually sometimes it's good to know you can have your hard day, but you can speak to me about it. I think,
mm,
especially when they become teenagers,
Yes.
just giving them like it's hard because I'm so sentimental and I'm like holding and they're like, leave me alone. Give me some space. How are you? Fine. What happened at school? Nothing. Good. Um, and Fridays, we go to football and I drive them to football, I drive them back. Then everything comes out.
Mm.
So I don't feel too hard done by, but during the week,
It's hit and miss. I'm so, oh, just sorry. I'm also mentally taking notes because I've got my 10-year-old is 10 going on 30. We're in that stage, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, like, get my, I don't know, like,
It gets
I'm
harder.
ready.
it's a
I've
time.
already. Do you know what's so horrible about parenting, right? Is that it's hard at every single stage, just in different ways, different methods of. Because I remember that like newborn stage where their cries, because I'm thinking about the sensory thing, that I felt like it was. Like if you were, like a bell, those bells that go, like in the school playground, they go ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to feel like my baby crying was like I'm a bell and ding 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 and it's hitting me and my whole body is vibrating with the cry. I couldn't. And then like was it when I started investigating like ADHD for myself and like all of this, like looking into autism and everything, I started to like do things to help myself. So I got earplugs, and the earplugs don't. I can still hear these children. I can definitely still hear them, but it just cuts things. It just soothes. Yeah, it
It
just
didn't feel like it was
sits
ringing through you as
right,
much.
right. And
Yeah.
that was the hard then, and then the hard when they're toddlers and like they can understand you. So they are doing what you say, but then now they're in their independence. Oh, it's the way that it constantly requires you to adapt. But then I also
Yes.
think there's something very like ADHD dopamine fulfilling about that because it's like, oh, it's a new challenge. Oh, I have to like solve it. I have to rise to this. Like, I think there's such a like interesting marriage between the levels of I think, and I not to like any other like neurotypical parent out there, but I think the reason I'm the parent that I am, or that I try to be, or that I want to, the reason I'm as close to the parent I want to be some days, because it's not every day, but is because I have ADHD. That's what helps me keep up with all their energy, all their this, that, the other. It's what makes me like a very, very highly attuned to like, that sound of quiet and this sound of quiet. There's
Yeah.
a different feel.
Mm.
That's the one. That's
Agreed.
the one I have to attend to. That's the one I can just
Yeah.
kind of. I really think it helps you like tune in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes they can be quiet and chill. I know they're chilling, but when my 6-year-old there's this certain quiet that she does. I'm like, she's up to something. And the day before her birthday, she'd cut her braids with her hair like that. And I just looked at it and I went, okay, no scissors for you then. Because what was I going to do? I couldn't glue it back. There's no point like losing my shit.
But internally, what was going on?
Internally, I was like, I did this too. It's karma.
Oh my
I
God.
was Remember
I love how
flashbacks
that's
to
how
your
you
own
took from it.
childhood.
You literally said it's my karma.
Wow.
And I moved it. I moved on because, like, what are you going to do?
Mm,
Like, I
mm.
said, we'll just have to, like, do your hair differently until it grows
I love
because,
that. I love that.
That's so good. But that flexibility is actually so good because it's I think this is where I struggle with myself as a parent is I think sometimes I can be very flexible and then sometimes I can be very fixated. And I think it's not perfect. And I want it to be perfect. So that's
it
also an
can't be,
issue.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's, are you an ADHD like me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think that's part of it. Because I like my rigidness, and that's when my autism is in the forefront. But
Mm,
then again, it's boring. So I want it flexible. Like, and that's my ADHD. So,
mm,
like, it, and like, I love my routines, but don't pen me in too much.
Yeah.
Because then I start to feel control and then demand avoidance kicks in.
Yeah.
So we just have to keep it loose. But so I don't say we have a routine. I say we have a rhythm,
Oh, I like that. Yes.
I like
right?
that one.
Right?
I like that one.
I really
Yeah.
like that.
Good.
Because
I think
we
I'm gonna
know
write it
what's
down.
what, but
Yes.
sometimes it ain't like that.
Yes.
But it's kind of like that.
Mm.
And I guess,
Because,
like, you have to adapt to the rhythm, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah, and it
These
can move.
changes, you've
It's
got
got so
to
much
change the movements as
movement.
well. That's brilliant.
they
Yeah.
still know the top and the tail. The tail is your internet does not work once dinner's ready. I don't care who you are. It's off because this kid will be trying me. And then the top is you've got to get ready and sort your room out. But the conversations we have on and on and again, and that's what I'm talking about, like responsibility. It's my eldest. He leaves it too late. And then he wouldn't check in. We always say check in before you leave for school. He never checks in before he leaves for school. And then I'll come downstairs. His ADHD meds untaken, his vitamins untaken, his inhaler untaken. And I'm like, you're going to have a tough day. Because I've had this
Mm.
conversation with you about making sure you check in with me so I can go through. So I make sure you're sorted for the day. But if you're not going to check in with me, I can't make you. So you're 15 now.
Mm.
Where do we draw the line that, like you said, if you don't check in, then I can't help you? But do you think maybe it's a question of, is it your son that's 15,
Yeah.
that he just has to find his own way? Because
Yeah,
my son's
absolutely.
13 and I have a similar structure, check in before bed, you check in the morning, say, okay, I'm off on my way now. Okay, that's my opportunity to check, have you got this, that, and that? But I never
Yeah.
have that. Like, I was taking myself to school at 8. Okay. My youngest is almost 8, and I'm just like, that would never happen for her. But there
Mm.
is, like, I love that I had that independence at such a young age, because it sort of made me adapt to certain things, and it made me resilient. And I realized, okay, there's no one at home, so if I've forgotten this, then it's on me. So
Mm.
where do we draw the line at? Okay, you know what? I've just got to let you figure it out. Like, when do you think
Yeah. I
that?
think like it's ages and stages. So with my 11-year-old, I will still have lots of input
Yeah.
because I don't feel like it's fair. But like my 15-year-old, he's had time, like we've scaffolded you
Yeah.
and we're still loosely scaffolding you. We're just loosening it a bit now because let's not
Mm.
be funny. In 3 years, he's going to be a full adult,
Look at that. Yeah.
right?
And it
Yeah.
goes so
And
quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be that he's relying on us all the
Mm.
time. And
Mm.
so what I do is I take a picture and I send it in the chat and I say, you forgot your meds today. And then he goes, oh yeah, I was in a rush. I was like, yeah, it's always going to be a rush, but we've got a plan.
I love that.
Mm.
But then there's a time where you start to sound like you're nagging, and I'm never going to be one of those people.
This is what I
Yeah.
was just gonna say. This is what I was just gonna say, because how do you feel about like the things that so okay, I know I'm asking the question, but I'm also throwing my input in the front. I get so bored with repeating the same thing
Mm.
every over. Halfway through my, nagging or conversation or discussion or whatever, I will say, look, I can stop right here and you can finish it. You've heard this so many, like,
Yeah.
it's nothing here is new. Why is there,
Why we?
how, d-
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about that? Like,
I
because
haven't got the answer
No
because
answers.
I'm still there.
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm still handling it. And I like, we're still, yeah, it's day by day, mate. I'm hoping that in the next 3 to 6 months or something, a little bit of hormone
Okay.
makes something click that actually is for my own benefit. Like,
mm,
I'm not
I
gonna
like the three
lie.
to six months.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna even step in. I don't even think like not to kind of like be the Debbie Downer, but even adults sometimes you still have to repeat it to adults multiple
Yes,
times.
absolutely.
mm.
it's true.
So,
It's true.
you
Yeah.
know, it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's just like it might happen, it might not happen, it might click, it might not click
It
because
might not.
we have adults roaming the roads where you're just like, I'm sure someone at work has told them so many times, this is how you do this. And they're like, yeah,
Mm.
sure. Then they'll come and ask you again. Sorry, so how do I do that thing again? You're like, And you're just like, really?
Oh my gosh. Oh my
And you're
goodness
just
me.
gonna have to, it's like you said, it's just gonna have to be one of those ones where it's just like, if it happens, then
It happens. If
and,
it
and
doesn't, it
or
doesn't.
it doesn't,
Yeah. Like the only person I can control at the moment is myself.
Yes.
And
My
even that is
reaction
not
to that.
a, it's
It's
not
not
a
easy.
guarantee. That one
It's not
is
easy.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends. Like if I've had like a lot of self-care, my sleep's been good,
Yes.
then I can rely on
Mm,
myself to be a better version.
Absolutely.
mm,
But if I'm a, as you say, a husk of a person, I love that so much.
Okay.
If I am especially when my husband's working away and like my support system's literally gone and I have to like, I'm on
mm,
survival mode,
Yep.
I'm like, it hasn't happened, fine, whatever. Like, because like, I'm not going to kill myself. Like, I took
mm.
my meds. I had a great day. Like, I don't know.
And that's so interesting. I guess this is where it kind of like when you think about parenting, it comes like everyone has mentioned, like it comes with like a mental load, but obviously with ADHD, it can feel even more heavier. So as parents with ADHD, your brain is already having so many tabs open,
Oh my
like you're having to
gosh.
deal with so many things. And then if you have multiple children with different personalities, so you
Yeah.
have even more, outside of just one sort of like tab open, you have another tab with multiple
Mm,
tabs
Yeah.
open that you're having to manage.
Yeah.
And so you're juggling so many things as well as supporting your kids and your children. And I guess the
mm.
question that we can kind of kick it off with, which we've spoken about already, is what does a mental load look like for you on a day to day? We'll kick it off with you, Aziza, because I know that you've kind of said some things a little bit, but you know, we'll start off there.
It's the way I can't remember anything that I've said so far in this conversation. Um,
That's so real.
okay, so mornings are I think they're the most challenging part of the day for me. Because, and actually it's funny, I was talking to Jules earlier today about how my sleep, um like me having, I have this like second sleep thing, you know, the delayed circadian rhythm. If I wake up at 2 a.m. my brain is, I'm alert, I'm awake. This is actually where I need to be at 5 a.m. It's not where I need to be at 2 a.m. So I go back to
Yeah.
sleep, and then, you know, I'm like, oh, it's 5, I should be getting up, but okay, I'm just gonna, oh, 5:30, oh, 6. And then now I'm kind of like groggy, and then I'm trying to like say, good morning, wake up, because in my head I don't want them to, I, how I was woken up, if it was okay, you okay, I'm not waking up. Oh, wake up, wake up, wake up. Now it's smack. Wake up. So I'm not trying to do that with my kids. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, good morning. I put on the voice, I try and, you know, and then and then their moods. And then I'm like, okay, that's their mood. I don't have to join them. I don't have to get sucked into the, but okay, let's try and keep it moving, keep it moving. And I think the time crunch of it all. So like being impacted by their mood and what's going on for them. And I think in the mornings there's such a time crunch, and that time crunch element, because like I feel like it's so common with ADHD, like trying to like figure out the moving parts of like getting all the things in the time span that needs to be done. And
Yeah.
I feel the squeeze of it every single morning, and I'm always trying to like find some sort of reprieve. Can I wake up a little bit earlier? Like today I did Pilates, and it was such a win. That's a big win. I did Pilates in the morning. I did something for myself. Yay. But I have to like snatch these things, like really grip them and force them into existence. And I think that's such a challenge managing, um, and we're waking up pretty early, but then I get the kids out, and then they're kind of like off doing their own thing, like in the car on the way. Like I'll try and talk. Sometimes some people don't want to talk, some people do. Um, and then, once they're there and they're doing their thing, I'm like, okay, cool. Getting back on my own thing. I'm coming back. Do I have clients today? Is there anything I need to work on? What's on my to-do list? And now I think that sometimes having that kind of like divide where I can focus on them and then come back and focus on me, that does help. And then it's like, depending on how the day's gone, what errands I've had to run, what if I've had clients, if I've had work, blah, blah, blah. I'm now like, it's now like 1:30, and I'm thinking, do I have time for lunch? Do I even feel hungry? Because like in like an hour or so, I need to get back onto my my other job, my real job, you know. And then it's like, hey, I'm going to get the kids and I'm picking them up. How's your day? What are you doing? Da, da, da. And then at some point I'm thinking, like, I think it's chaos. I think it's chaos. There's flow sometimes, there's joy sometimes. I try and make room for connection. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, let's play Uno, like just randomly. Like I try, but I also know I have so much of like having to say to myself, you tried today. You know, that thing was a win. Okay, you know what, you guys, yeah, you did have to bring out the who are you talking to voice. And sometimes that has to be it. And that was it for today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Like I really always, because I think it's so easy to like to be like, oh, was I the mum I want to be? No, damn it. Like, and it's like, okay, you weren't, but you still tried. And that's one thing I think is that I'm very big on trying. But I think over the years I've learned to really take note of the things that I've done because it's very easy for it to all disappear in a fog. And then I'll be like, oh, I haven't done anything today and I'm so tired. You haven't done anything today and so tired. You've parented two human beings full time, and you've done work, and you've looked after the house, and you've tried to raise money in this cost of living crisis. You've done a lot, actually. So yeah, that's I think that answers the
No,
question.
it
I
really,
hope it
yeah, no, it
answers.
really, really does. And I'll hand it over to you, other ladies as well. Like, what kind of like, what does the mental load look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
I would describe it as like organized chaos. I think there are some weeks where like, I'm just doing really well. I'm like, yeah, like, I feel like a great parent. I've got this. And then there are weeks where I'm like, they're alive, they ate,
Mm,
they've washed, we've survived the day. And I think sometimes you just have to sort of go with the flow of it. But I think what's really important, which is what you were talking about, is like that constant state of reflection, constantly thinking, okay, like, okay, that might not have been a good day today. What would I do differently next time?
mm,
Or, okay, this went well. Maybe I need to do more of that and double down on that. So I feel like I'm in a constant state of reflection. And I think that's also, once again, to do with how I was raised. I didn't have, when I look back, I know that I didn't have enough sort of patience, especially for my mum. She was not patient. She had no patience. She was like, get this done. But with my children, I want them to know, okay, like, mum is patient, but she does have boundaries. And so we need to be respectful of
mm,
that. And I want to sort of model how we should treat each other so that when they go into the world or if they decide to have a relationship or, to have children of their own, that they can, think back, okay, this is how my parents were with me. So this is how I want to be with, in other spaces and relationships and stuff.
mm,
So yeah, it is organized chaos. I don't think there will ever come a time where I'm like, yep, every day is perfect because I don't think life works that way. And we've got so many things going on. But in my mind, like I just imagine it to have like 1,000 tabs constantly open. And if I get to close 2 tabs, brilliant. Let's take that.
mm.
But I feel like my brain is at capacity and I want to like expand the memory. I wish I could do that, but it's just not going to happen right now. So I'm just rolling with it. Just doing my
Yeah,
best.
I completely relate. And the thing is, I know it sounds weird because like their lives are more complex now than when they were little, but I
Yeah.
actually prefer it now to when
Yeah.
they were little because when they were little, there wasn't, even though we had groups we went to and minus my COVID baby, she didn't go nowhere. Um, groups we went to on this day and we hung out with this people on this day and we went to the park on this day. It was still too chaotic for me. But now, like, I know that I dropped them off Breakfast Club at 8 a.m. And I know that we didn't used to do Breakfast Club. And then my husband was like, Breakfast Club is like £2.50. Like, you're stressed that you're stressing. Yes, you'll have to leave the house earlier, but we're literally 5 minutes down the road from the school. Like, but it will really ease your stress. And sometimes I don't like to be listening, but actually it's changed my life. I'm not going to lie. Like dropping her off because my others walk to school. That's another thing. I have less school runs now. Now that they're older, they just go. And then I find my iPhone to make sure they're there. Yeah, but like I take her and I drop her off at 8 a.m. and then I know there's traffic to get to work, but it's fine. I'm having a little concert in my car. It's self-care. I get home, I get to the work, I do my job, and then I know that, like, the thing about when you're talking about mental load, like the in-betweens, that's when I book holiday club, or like check that the guitar teacher is okay for this. Like, yeah, I'm slotting my life admin in like the in-betweens, which regular people who don't have children don't have to think about those extra stuff, right? And being the default parent, something I've been pushing back on for the last, I want to say 3-4 years, is you have my husband's number. Why are
Rightly
you ringing
so.
me?
It's
Rightly
true.
so.
It's so
I'm
true.
at work, he's at work.
Yeah.
Ring
Mm,
him.
Yeah.
mm,
Because, and what we've been doing lately is, so I do the breakfast drop off, and then, like, he's a bit of a workaholic, bless his soul. But I've made it that he's got to finish work to pick my daughter up from after school club at 5:30. And it's good for him because, like, he has a bit of an evening and he's not overworking himself. And it's good for her because she's got time for her with her other parent. And it's good for
mm,
me because that means I'm not panicking about how much I have to squeeze into the day, because I've got a whole job and that I have before I used to squeeze. Before we did after school club, I used to work 9 till 2:30 and squeeze like over 4 days. I used to squeeze like people's full-time hours into that. And it was a lot. And so I was like, how am I like stressing myself out like this? Like,
mm,
use the resources that thankfully we have. When with my eldest, we couldn't afford after school club, right? That's a reality for most people. Like,
mm,
it's expensive. And ours is cheaper than London, right? And like, I was like, use the resources that you've got, because like at the end of the day, you're only one person. You can't do
mm.
everything. And me being a Virgo, that perfectionism, Jesus. I've been working so hard to like unlearn it, but it's because we had such high expectations growing up.
Mm.
Such high expectations. Like, I used to be scared to bring bees home.
Wow.
And I'm like, whereas my
You mean
son
the
has had
grade,
SATs
not
this,
the...
yes, the
Yeah,
grade,
sorry, I don't know why I
not
pictured
the
you with like a...
animal.
I thought bees for
Yeah,
a
I
second,
thought
but
that,
I
and I was
knew
like,
it. And then
oh
And I
afterwards, I
was
was like,
like,
oh, okay.
why
And it's
would
talking
you
about
do that? But then like,
Yeah,
I
grade.
thought,
the
okay,
grade.
not the one.
The grade. No, but my son has had SATs this week and we didn't even talk about it. The only thing we said was, how was today? Good? Yeah? All right, great.
Mm,
I love
And
that.
do you know what I mean? Like, because for GCSEs, I was studying 7 hours a day. Why?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The
mm,
expectations were too much.
Yeah.
mm.
Agreed.
And like my whole worth was wrapped around my
What
grades.
grade did you bring home?
Academia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not what I want for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, like, that's my thoughts on mental load and default parenting. Because,
And that's
Mm,
so interesting because it leads on to a question I wanted to ask where do you feel like you're constantly having to catch up and trying not to forget things? And I know Lucy kind of mentions the gap that you have, you manage to slot things in to kind of just like, oh, this is the time where I can do the life admin. But sometimes even me, who's not a parent, like trying to remember things, and especially like we said, the constant tabs that you have where you're having to kind of like, remember that thing and remember this thing, but having to constantly catch up, and especially like, with kids and stuff like that, do you feel like you're having to do that and try not to forget things?
All the time. I would, in like, when I think of my memory and just managing things, I imagine, when your suitcase comes out at the airport, what's that thing called?
the
carousel.
conveyor belt.
Carousel,
Oh,
right? So the things that I need to remember, they go in, so they disappear, and then they come out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's today. I need to figure
yeah.
that out. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll do that later. And then it goes in and it comes back out again. That's how my mind works. So, like, using technology that really helps me. I've got like
Mm,
a calendar that I share with my husband, and we put everything in there, and that keeps me organized. And it's like a safe space that I can go to because I just don't have the capacity to remember it all. And sometimes I'm just like, man, like, I can't wait until I can just worry about me and not have to worry about this
mm,
person's taekwondo and have you got what you need, you know, and did you make that packed lunch, and who's taking you to the trip, and who's going to pick you up from your detention next week. I don't want to have that. I just want to worry about what I'm going to eat today, what I'm going to wear today, and nothing else. But it's a lot, isn't it? It really is
It's
to manage it
so
all.
much. Do you know what it is as well? It's the fact that it's like it's 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 never ending. Like it
Yeah.
keeps on coming. And oh, this week it's World Book Day. Oh, actually this week we're doing something at school. We're raising why is the school they're raising money for something and it's a sponsored something or other and they've come home with this and I'm just like and
Why?
it's what like yes,
Yeah,
why?
why?
And I get it. I know like okay, maybe developmentally, da da da, these experiences children should have, blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. Sure. However, there is so much that I am managing, and there are so many things. And there, mind you, there's also every 6 months dentist. Oh, doctor's checkups. Oh,
Nice.
um, oh, actually, also don't forget, next year we need new school uniforms. I hope you've been putting your money away for that. You need to make sure you get the sales. If you leave it to August,
Oh my
know that
gosh.
you will not have a uniform for
There's
your child
nothing.
to wear. You
There's
need to
nothing.
July. How
Yes.
many how many reminders on my calendar
Oh my
because
gosh.
the year that I said oh and I was looking everywhere just for trousers
Trousers.
it was
Yeah, it's
oh
hard.
I said never
It's
again,
hard.
never again. So it's like it's the way that it keeps on coming and it makes it so because you know what you said about it going and then coming back out like on
Yeah.
the conveyor belt thing.
Carousel.
It's like
Mm.
it's like sometimes you have like a mental conversation where you're like, oh, okay, I need to da da da, and then you don't action it. Like I know myself. I know anything I think, I have to put it in a calendar. I have to put it in a reminder. And even that is not always gonna be that
Mm.
effective. But
Yeah.
let me leave it to, oh, I just thought about it. It's gone.
Gone.
It's actually nothing's gonna happen. Actually, what's gonna happen is your kid's gonna say, okay, so we're meant to have red hair today, and you're like, oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. No, because it's always something random. It's just the most
It
random.
is. It is.
Oh, make sure you have a top with polka dots on it. Where am I finding
I
a top with
mean,
polka dots on it? What are you
why?
doing?
It's like they
So,
seek to torture us. Like, I'm already doing so much. Why must you throw these challenges at me?
That's so funny. So like actually I wrote a blog on the ADHD Babes blog about things that help me when I'm parenting with ADHD. So check it out. But like I Sundays for me are sacred,
Mm.
and I have I'm gonna sound like such a geek, I'm sorry, but I have a hybrid system. So like I have a shared family calendar with my husband that is on my
mm,
phone. That's like the Bible.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why, maybe it's to do with working memory. I sit down and I write it in if I haven't written it,
mm,
Yep. It's not
it doesn't
happening.
mm,
stick.
Not happening.
And I don't
mm.
remember. And every morning when I wake up, I have set a thing with Google to like send me my agenda as at 5 a.m. And so I just look at the email. It says, you have this, 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 this. Okay,
That's
great.
cool.
Cause like, and then that's all well and good, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Mm.
work. And like, I have this panic attacks. I was like, oh my God, I'm meant to be doing something. What is it? I don't know what it is. What is it? And then I have to like ring and I say, do you know what I'm meant to be doing? Often, like my friends are like, no. Why do you think I should know? But like in case, because like I chat a lot. I might have said something to
Mm,
you. Like,
mm.
but like, and then I just wait till the consequence comes and hits me in the face. I was like, that's what I forgot. Okay. And like when I was like when I first became a parent, like one time I forgot a doctor's appointment and I felt so bad about myself. And I was like, this is not normal. Like, why are you so harsh with yourself? Like,
Yeah.
you're
Mm.
human. Like, it was a mistake. You didn't do it on purpose. Like, but nowadays, when that happens, I'm like, oops, to tomorrow. And then, because like you can't change it,
Yeah, that's very
and it's
true.
not like you did it on purpose. Like it was an accident. You have like a literal reason why. I'm not
Mm.
trying to be that person. I'm not trying to be flaky. Like I say to people, I'm early or late. I'm never on time. Like it's just how I am. Like
Mm.
take it or leave it. Like because I'm
Mm.
trying my best. Like there's nothing I could do about it. And the thing is, like now I don't overcommit. Before I used to overcommit and say, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, why not? Okay." And then I was like, "Where are you going to do all of those things?"
No,
But
but
now I
you
say,
know, there's
"Sorry,
like, you imagine, like, in your head, it's like, no,
yeah,
like, of course, yes, I can do that. That sounds good. That sounds fun. And then when the rooster comes to crow, or however they say it, it's
yeah,
like I've committed myself to this huge list of things that no human in their right mind could even do. It's not
yeah."
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so these days, I like my most used phrase is, "No, I don't think so," until I check my calendar. No, I
Thank you
don't
for
think
that.
so. No, I don't think
Mm.
so until I can check my calendar because I've done it, and I'll break myself trying to fix other people's stuff, and I was like, actually, I don't have that capacity. I think we have to
Mm.
just be careful with that.
Yeah, I also
Mm.
think in saying that, I also think it's interesting because sometimes I think with having ADHD, you like the spontaneousness of like, oh, that looks fun. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Then the next day you're just like, nah, I'm not in the mood to do that. Like I don't want to do that anymore. And you've
Yeah.
got this
Mm.
long, you come back to your list so much to the point where you basically push yourself into anxiousness because now you have to say to people, I don't think I can do it. I was overzealous by saying yes to
You
it.
see that? You see that? This is why I am very, like, I'm so careful about what I say to my kids I'm going to do,
Yeah.
because that's my hack. Like, it's like, okay, maybe maybe in my head, like, oh, we're gonna go somewhere, oh, we're gonna do something. I keep it buttoned up. I keep it
Yeah.
because it's if I wake up on the day and now I don't feel like it, or something's happened and I can't make myself get there's no oh, but you said we're going to da da da. When are we going? What time is it? Da da da. Are we going there now? Are we going there today? Are we going there now? I don't even want to do it because you've asked me. So I actually have to be very, very, because sometimes excitement, I'll be like, oh, I can't wait to tell them I want them to, but no, actually just be like, oh, we're in the car now. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Not that's like my little hack. I don't know if that's helpful,
Yeah, I
but
always say to my children, like, so my daughter might say, okay, so what are we doing tomorrow? Or can we do this thing? And I say, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see
mm,
because I need to know that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and feel like I'm in the mood to do things. I might not be in a kind of do things mood. So I don't want to commit to saying, yes, we can absolutely do that because I know that A, I don't want to disappoint her. And so I'm going to be forced to do something and that's not going to be fun for either of us. So I'm always like,
mm.
yeah, let's wait and see. And sometimes like she'll preempt it, oh, let's wait and see. And I'm like, yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens because we don't know. So if we do
Mm,
get to the next day and we get to do that thing, it's like, yeah, we did that thing, that's great. But then I don't have to worry about disappointing her or myself by not following through.
mm,
So that's what I always
mm.
go to.
I usually do that, and then at Easter, I said, "Oh yeah, we can make some Easter cupcakes,"
Oh,
and then I didn't. I couldn't handle it. So we did make it 2 weeks
Mm.
later,
okay.
but
But and that's
yeah,
still a win, and that's still a win. I
yeah.
think
But
even
I
you.
was just like, I can't, because I worked during the holidays. Like yeah, I
Mm.
was like, sorry,
You know
darling.
what you said earlier about your kids being older, and like some of that, like, because like where you can explain things, like for example, I said I was going to make chicken burger, well, I bought chicken burgers and I bought the buns, and that was literally what I was going to make tonight. And I just literally, like, half an hour before this or an hour before this, I was just like, I don't think it's going to happen. And I just said, look, I don't think I can make that today. I'm going to make whatever. And I think that, like, the reality of like allowing yourself to be human in front of your children, and
Mm,
because you know that whole idea of giving them grace and like kind of wanting like them experiencing you do that for yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
I think it has such a big impact because it's like, yeah, do you know what I did say? Like, I really wanted to, like, I was really excited about these chicken burgers because I made salad and like, I was like, like I actually made a salad this week. Like, it's a big thing. So, I really wanted to, but it's like, okay, well, when we got to the moment, and I like what I think it was you, Nadia, that said about just now, we don't know what's going to happen, and that's such a reality of life. Like, we actually have all these hopes and expectations and desires and things we want to, but sometimes that isn't what happens, and like adapting in the moment and like kind of, so it's I feel like I'm kind of pulling it back to flexibility and adaptation and fixation and rigidity, but I think it's like it's such a constant dance between what are the things that you can expect and you can know are things that your mum is committed to making happen, and what are the things that actually this is life. Like, so there is, okay, even if someone's committed to something, sometimes even with that even with all the best wishes and hopes and desires and whatever, reality is, said, let's go another way. And then also some of the joy of like, oh, actually, yeah, why not? Okay, we're just gonna go to the park after school today.
I love
Actually,
that.
just randomly, like,
Yeah.
that there's a joy in that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love that because, like, I live with chronic pain and chronic illnesses, and I
Mm.
don't know what body I'm going to wake up to every morning. And so I feel like, and before, I used to like, I don't want my health to affect my children's childhoods. And that was like a thing. So that meant
Mm.
I couldn't show them how bad it could be. And like, it wasn't really helping because
Yeah.
I wasn't like being able to like give myself grace because
Mm.
I didn't want it to affect what they needed from me. But like, I suppose, like, I think it has to do with them being older as well. Me saying, it's a bad day today, so no, I can't do that. Or no, I don't have the capacity for this because
Mm.
like, I'm just breaking it down for them. Like,
Mm.
and I think especially not so much with my boys, but my girl, especially like, she's so empathetic, and like she goes, how are you feeling? And I was like, I don't want that to be your thing. I don't want it to be something that you think about. Like,
Mm.
I'm good, like, but then there are times where I'm like, oh yeah, my back hurts a bit, and she goes, oh, that's okay, and then she makes me a little card, and like, do you know what I mean? It's so sweet. Like, and I was like, actually, it's okay to be like human to a point, like with
Mm.
them, but that's the line. I don't want it to be like an emotional, like, baggage thing for them, but at the same
Mm.
time, I want to be real and be like, I'm not okay today.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I love that.
I
And
think that
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let you ladies.
No, I want to hear what you say.
No,
it's
because I was
like,
going. What the question I was going to ask was because obviously Lucy, you mentioned your daughter, and kind of just like the question I wanted to ask was that when do you feel seen and understood in your role as a parent with ADHD from like family members, your children, even people like our other parents as well? Because I know sometimes the automatic thing is to just go in as a parent, but then also do people within your lives understand that you are a parent with ADHD?
That's a great
mm.
question.
Like, I
Yes,
don't
we
shut up
mentioned
about
that.
it. I don't shut up about it. It's all over my socials. Like, I share everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, and like in the parent group chat, I'll be like, oops, forgot. Hashtag ADHD. Like, like, but I don't think that's not the same thing as feeling seen. Okay.
Mm.
So there's only a handful of people that I can 100% say I feel seen by, and I don't have to mask around.
Mm.
And like, one of my best friends, also called Lucy, were a time, and like, she's also neurodivergent, and like, I can vent at her and she gets it. I don't have to like over explain context. I don't have to like, she just understands. And it
Mm.
helps that she's also living with chronic illnesses like I am. So that adds an extra layer to things that, like, I suppose like other people don't like have to think about or see. And when we're planning where to meet up, I can tell that she's thought about it, because she'll make sure that we don't have to walk loads. Whereas if for other people, like they don't really think about that. They're like, yeah, it's easy. And I was like, there's loads of stairs. Like, I'm not going to be able to walk tomorrow if I do those. Like stuff like that. My husband's very good at like seeing me. Like, for example, I have this thing about putting clean clothes away. It's like I can't do it. Like, it takes me forever. Like, it's not like I do my own laundry. I'll say it with my chest. I'm 37-year-old and I do not do my own laundry. Um, but all I have to do is put my clothes away, and I still pick clothes from the floor or the chair because I just can't put it away. And this particular time, it got so bad. I think it was like 5 weeks worth of clean clothes. It was just adding, adding, adding. And I went away for the weekend, and I came back
Oh
and
no.
it had gone.
Oh, where? Where's it
Where?
gone?
Because
My husband,
everyone was
yeah,
expecting the worst.
yeah.
Everyone was like,
My
where's it
husband,
gone?
my husband put them away.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you put my clothes away? He was like, I could tell you were having a hard time with it. And I was just like, yes, I
Oh,
was. Like,
oh.
yeah. And like, so I feel seen by certain people, not
Mm,
everybody, you know, like even the people that I'm in close community with, like some of them, I think, don't understand the implications of what I'm living with.
yes, I
mm,
agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
can they can
mm,
see, but they're not really seeing.
Yeah, I think for me, because I found out, I think 3 years ago that I had ADHD, it's something that I sort of lead with if I meet someone new, and it is on my socials. And I think I did think about whether or not I'll take that down, because I think when I first found out, I wanted the world to know, this is a big thing for
mm,
me. And as time has progressed, I've become more vocal about it. Oh, yeah, I've got ADHD, and it just seems very much like, oh, okay, which is really good for me. But I tell people, because I need people to understand that, like, my brain works differently to yours. There are going to be some things that
mm,
I do, you might be thinking, why are you doing that? But it's because I've got ADHD. And even in like my work, I work in a SEN college. I'm very open with it. And I think that opens sort of space for my students to feel at ease. Okay, Mrs. got ADHD and dyslexia. Okay, okay, so she's
mm,
gonna get it. Do you know what I mean? And at home, for me, like my husband, he knows, because he knows I've got ADHD, so he's very, very supportive. And I'm very open with it about my son, because he's older. And so there are certain traits that I recognize in him. And I'm like, look, this is what I went through. I don't want you to experience that. So I'm telling you this, do it in this way. Like, or I might react in this way because, I'm really sensitive. Or, I can see that you're being on the defense. I know what that's like. But, when I speak to you or say this, I'm not coming at you. I'm just trying to support you. So take a breath. Don't rush to give me an answer if I ask you something. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. There's the little things that I
mm,
want people around me to know. I would love to sort of get to a point where I don't have to announce it and I can just be me, but at the moment I'm just grateful that I've got people in my life who know what to expect. Like you said, Lucy, I'm going to be late or I'm going to be early. There isn't an in between with
mm,
me, unfortunately. And
mm,
thankfully, I've got a great circle of friends who get that, so they're not
mm,
going to make me go to places where I'm going to struggle to read a map. Like things like reading a map, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like why am I having to go to these different places and take a million trains and change here and change there? So having friends that understand, who are also neurodivergent, which helps, they get
mm.
it. So they're going to make it easy for me, So yeah.
It's been a journey because I'm also late diagnosed, and even the whole, I think I'm a little bit like this anyway, like the whole like overzealous right at the start. Hey, look, and actually I was doing a degree at the time, so I also did research on it, and like so I was all like, this ADHD, da da da, and I learned so much about how so often people that are late diagnosed, their self-concept, this is what all my research was about, like your self-concept is, oh, like how you understand yourself when you don't have this is what's going on. It can be very like sort of negative, or sort of like, do I have some sort of flaw, and all of this stuff. And how one of the like the really big strengths of people with ADHD is that because of like, especially late diagnosis, is that because of like not having that reason or answer, it's like a very like interesting skill that you develop where you're like, this thing didn't work and I have to try again because I want the thing, but you know, the way I did it isn't working, but I'm gonna try again. Like that, I feel like that was such a process. Understanding, hey, this is what's going on with me. Oh, this idea of I'm not trying, because it was always like, am I not trying hard enough? Is that what the issue is? Maybe I need to try more.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how much more you can try because you've tried all the trying in the world, you've tried it. So, so that like, I think with even just with myself, seeing myself as like a parent with ADHD, like a person that has like acknowledging that, yeah, this is a struggle for me. Yes, I need to put support in place. Yes, even because like I was like because like I'm a therapist, like you know, in training you have to have your own therapy, and even before that I had therapy, and then I had like 5 years of really great therapy, and this whole journey of like asking for help, ask for help. You need to ask for help. You have permission to ask for help. Ask, because it's like when you kind of grow up quite independent and you're quite self-reliant and self-sufficient, everyone
Yeah.
expects you to kind of get on with things. Even
Mm.
if it is a struggle, you still find some kind of way to push forward. It's like, oh, you are allowed to ask for help. It is actually important that you ask for help. The people who love you and are around you, when people ask you for help, how do you feel? Oh, yeah, I want to help you. I'm so glad I get to help you. I feel closer to you. I'm so glad that you feel like you can rely on me. Guess what? You can also give that to the people around you, and you deserve that kind of flow back, that like
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
flowing back to you. So I
Mhm.
think that that was such a big thing for me to just understand within myself. And I will say like there are some people that don't get it. There's loads of people that don't get it. But the people that do get it, the people that I can like like I don't know, I messaged one of my friends today and I was just like, children are your ops, your children are your ops. And she was like, you're doing your best. You're doing your best. And I was like, no, no, they're my up. They're like, I literally messaged her at 5. I was like, they're, do you know what I mean? But like having those spaces where you can actually just let it down, let it out,
Yeah.
let it go,
Yeah.
and knowing that the person on the other side understands like there's not, you don't even need to give the caveat, oh, I love my kids, but no,
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
just
need that.
saying they're out to get me today. Someone send help. And they, you know what, look, because you guys are laughing, like Nadia
It's
and
true
Lisa,
though.
like,
Oh,
but that's the reality. And it's like, and there's no need to like curb how I've said it or just expect, no, like you actually get it. And 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 tomorrow's another day, you know. So I think that that being seen in it is so meaningful, it's so nourishing, it's so holding, and it gives me something that I need. And yeah, I really appreciate that of the people in my life
and do you know
for
something
that.
I love? Like, I forgot this, but like you talking reminded me. Me and my son, my eldest, we share ADHD memes back and forth.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so cool.
And
Oh.
like it's so funny because like I get the humor. We're laughing at ourselves,
mm,
but like it's great.
mm,
And that's the thing about being human with him, because like he gets it. He has struggles. I have struggles. Like we're
mm.
struggling together. Like yeah, but like sharing those memes back and forth, like it's just like so cute. And I'm like, gosh, you're gonna leave one day, and then all I'll be doing is sharing memes to make sure you're alive. Like
Oh,
And you know what? I love that because that leads me to my next question. Have you noticed yourself kind of like advocating more for your child? Like when it
I'm
comes to
so
certain
burnt
things?
out with that. Burnt out
Yeah.
completely. So burnt out. Like seriously. I know the Senkos aren't trying to, well, most of them are good at their jobs. They just don't have the resources. But like some of them,
mm,
they be trying me. They be trying me. And I'm not trying to be the angry black woman in a very, very white area. But like at the same time, I'm not standing for that.
Yeah, not my child, not my children, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
all the
No
time.
way.
And not just at school, though, at football. at swimming, at gymnastics. Like, everywhere they go, I've got to be like, well, yes, this is a great expectation, but reasonable adjustments.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I think,
Because you have to set them up for success.
but on an equal playing ground, if that makes sense, where
Yeah,
they're provided the necessary adjustments and support.
absolutely. Yeah.
And you saying that, it kind of like, it makes me think about the, naturally as ADHDers, we have just this need to just kind of just like injustice. We have to
Oh
fight.
my
Like
God.
it's
Like,
literally in anything we just
yeah,
think like suspicious. Hold on, wait a minute.
yeah,
What do you mean by that? What did you say? Why you said that? Da, 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 da,
yeah.
da. So I guess it's kind of just like going back to that. But I just wanted to add that because I can imagine.
Vibes. What's your vibe doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? I just feel like I've got the spidey senses where like, is that, do I feel, do I
Mm.
detect injustice? No, 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 no. We need to shut that down. And for me, it's not even just with my children, like with my students as well. I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. Colleagues, no, we're
Mm.
not doing that. Because why do we
Mm.
need to be treating each other disrespectfully or unkindly or, being discriminatory? We don't need to be doing that. So let's not do that.
Mm.
But I feel as
Mm.
well as a black mother, and I'm in a predominantly white area myself. And so I'm very cautious about how I go about things. And I think, particularly as someone who's in education, I'm just like, we're not doing that. Because I know what this is. We're not doing that. We're not doing this. And I feel like, especially for my son, they're a bit like, oh, she's a bit. Yeah, I am a bit because this is my child and I want him to have
Mm.
a a positive experience, for other children out there, maybe their parents aren't advocating the way I am for my child, but that's up to them. But and reasonably so, I don't want him to have, things that he doesn't need to have, but I just want him to have a positive experience because they're at school for the majority of the day. So
Mm.
it needs to be a positive environment. They need to have,
Mm.
certain arrangements or, for example, my son, he's got a timeout card now. And like how that came about, it was like I sent an email and they were like, they just gave it to him. And I'm like, hold on a minute, like we're not gonna communicate about this?
Explain.
You're not gonna tell me what
Mm.
the parameters are? Like, this is what I would do. So I have certain expectations. And I think because they know that I work in education, they're like, oh, okay, we need to be on our P's and Q's. But you should be like that anyway with any
Yeah.
parent. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to know the system to be able to say, actually, this is how things work. But yeah, I just don't like when people are trying to do things, and try and get away with it. I don't like that. So I'm very
Mm.
protective, but I try to just, not push the boundaries too much. As long as they have what they need, I want them to be able to just, have a positive experience and get through it.
I think I would
I
say,
find
like,
that.
I would agree with that. But there was one time that I lost my brain and I had to go and chat with my black Zen mamas because I
Oh,
was like, yeah, like it was in the park and like my little one, the middle one, he goes to the park by himself sometimes. And he texted me, he said this boy squeezed juice in his face.
okay.
And I said,
Mm.
okay, do you know who he is? Like, who's his parent? Da, da, da. But then something in my spirit was like, just go and get him. So it's just down the road. So I went and got him. And I discovered that the parent of the boy was in the park watching him behave that way.
Mm.
And like, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but if I'm in the park, I'm watching to make sure my children aren't being stupid.
Yep.
And I said to her, can you actually parent, please? Because like this is not okay. Like I'm not having your son doing that to my son. And I think the mama bear came out,
Mm.
and after it came out, because I'm not a confrontational person at all, I don't enjoy it. I was doubting myself. So I had to go and I had to like go in the group chat. I'd be like, this happened and I said this and I was shouting at her. And they're like, yeah, own it. Something called righteous anger. I was like, okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Because I never had, like, I want him to know that I've got his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's really important to me because I like grew up and I couldn't, I don't know if I said, oh, this happened, if someone would be like, okay, yeah, let's go
Yeah.
figure it
Deal
out.
with it.
Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
And I
I
think in
find
those moments, sorry, in those moments, your son learns how to advocate for himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you didn't hesitate. You were like,
mm,
listen, go parent. That's strong. I'd have been like, hi, excuse me. Like, you were like, you need to parent your child because this and this happened and that's not okay. And, your son's learning from that. Okay, if something like that happens to me or if I feel respected or violated, I need to just take a stance and say, hey, that's not okay. So that's really
mm.
important. That's a learning moment for your son.
um I had such a struggle when it comes to, because I had so much where I was growing up at school where it was like, undiagnosed ADHD, chatting, talking, da da da. In fact, sometimes I wasn't talking, but because you're used to me being the one talking, it's, oh, Adiola, can you stop? And it's like, oh, but I wasn't even talking this time. So I had a lot of that. And my mum was like, typical immigrant parent, go out, you've been sent to school to learn. What's all of this? I don't want to hear the teachers, blah, 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 blah. So, but then I think like some of my experiences with authority and whatnot, like I try and go in with like oh hi, like so with my oldest where I'm doing like with like in the send process and whatnot, and actually same with the youngest, but like with some of the teachers I would be like, oh hi, I've just found out this about me, we're investigating it for him, blah 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 blah. And then it so sucks so much that it depends on the teacher, because one teacher you've done that with now, and it's every little thing your child does. Oh yeah, mum, let's have a word because he was doing this today in class, he was doing that today in class, da 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 da. And other teachers, it's like, okay, no, I get this is where he's coming from. I'm gonna keep encouraging him. I understand that it's not coming from a place of malice. Maybe he just needs to be read. It feels so tricky navigating who is the teacher that I'm going to say this to and it's going to work out negative, and who's the
Mm.
teacher I'm going to say this to and it's going to work out okay, that's what my kid needs. And it feels so confusing, genuinely. Like, this is me being very uh I think a little bit vulnerable. It just feels so confusing. I don't know if I characterize myself as like someone who necessarily advocates for my child in the way that I always want to, or in the way that I feel like I should be. And then so I was listening to you, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna let my kids down. Like,
No,
of
you're
course, like,
not.
but
No,
but
absolutely
it's
not.
but you like in the sense of like, because not necessarily even am I letting them down, but maybe am I
Patterns.
unconsciously repeating a pattern where they don't necessarily feel, but I try in my way, but I don't know. It's hard to know if it's enough, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do get what you're saying, and I do understand that. And like, I want to say that that's why I said I'm burnt out by it, because it's not always
Mm,
easy at all. Like, I've had to pull out one of my children out of a certain school that his elder sibling did year reception to year 6 in, but I pulled him out. I pulled him out over a year ago because I got fed up of saying the same thing. Like,
mm,
when he didn't, and because he's a fawner, he's not someone that would distract, but it doesn't mean his needs are less. And I just got fed up of the system. I was like, I'm not engaging with that Senko anymore because it's a waste of my energy and I'm just feeling so demoralized. I pulled him
mm,
out because I was like, I'm not doing it anymore because it's so hard when all you want is for your child to have like a positive experience in school and you keep putting barriers in place. Like,
Absolutely.
why?
mm,
Why?
mm,
What's the point? Like, just do your job. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm like someone who is staunchly in support of teachers. And because I understand that they have such a hard job to do with not
mm.
enough resources, thanks, government. But like, at the same time, there's some that you're like, you should retire.
Absolutely.
You
And
shouldn't
it's
be
okay.
here.
You've done your years. You've done
Done
your
your
years.
time. Tap out.
Like,
No
you're
one else
burnt
is doing it.
out
Mm,
and you're not doing it
Yeah.
anymore.
mm, mm,
And like, I left that school community and I joined this new one because my littlest started school at this new school, so I put him in the same school. And like, even even like, this is bad, but like, he had an incident of racism on the playground, and this is another thing. I have to like advocate for. But like the way they were so active about it, they were so active about it. They were like, we've reported this, like, it's not okay. Like, and I was just like, okay, yeah, cool. Whereas like other school, very passive. I
Yeah.
had to be like sending emails to be like about it, you know? And like, that's what I'm saying. It's not always, doesn't always work out. And like, even though I'm like a staunch advocate for them, like one time I had a Senko meeting. I was so anxious about it, so anxious that for the rest of the day I had shut down. I couldn't speak. Like it was so bad. And that is what we're talking about. It's not always perfect. You just have to like show up and be your, like how you have, you try your best. Like I reread this thing because you know I talked about like dealing with perfectionism and all that stuff. I read this thing, good enough, be a good enough
Yes,
parent,
the
Yeah.
good enough
I love
parent.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
right? And I just hang on to that some days
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, actually, they're alive. They've eaten.
Yep.
Mm. Do you think like I think that's like one of the things that like because my brain keeps saying Winnicott, Winnicott. I think it's Winnicott with good enough parent, but that doesn't matter. But basically, sorry, I just needed to say it out loud because it was, but yeah, it was just,
Like,
but like just repeating like it's just. But do you think like do you think that with I think that is one of the things that is the reality that I think some days I'm like I know this is the thing and this is the thing about me just in general anyway. If I know I've done my best at a thing, then I've done my best. And I actually with I can say no one could tell me anything. With these kids, I've done even beyond what I thought I was capable of. I've found different things that I never knew even existed inside myself to come here and parent you. And I think it's so interesting that the thing, I guess, like sometimes I have this picture in my head of like, oh, and then we wake up in the morning and I say good morning, and she'll say good morning, mummy, and then they go and they brush their teeth, and then we come downstairs and we have something to eat, and I drop you off the breakfast, and it's never, ever, ever that. It's got so much more texture, so much more like dynamicness, so much more life, so much more rhythm. Shout out Lucy. So much more rhythm. And that is beautiful in its own way.
yeah.
And it's like I have to sometimes shake myself. I don't want the plastic family. I actually don't want the plastic family.
No.
But sometimes I'm trying to get us into the plastic family box mold, and it's like wait, that's not what you actually want. You are so happy that you feel connected to your children and that your children feel connected to you. You are so happy that yes, they're fighting like literally 30 arguments a day, like please can we stop. But
Yes.
then you also see them actually interact with each other as real human beings. Like and there are times where it's like this is too much, but there are times where it's like, wow, I really like how you kind of like, you were a bit kind to your brother today. And that small act of kindness it's not even gonna, if they were kind every day, would I even notice it? I'll just say, oh, whatever. But like the days when I see yeah, it's so funny. I just find it so funny that kind of like sometimes I'm veering towards this like fake idea of what family ought to be or should be, or but then it's like, no, I don't actually want that. Why do I keep trying to do that? I don't know if you got if Nadia
Yeah,
and Lucy, if you
I totally understand completely. And especially us, like, there's 10 years between the eldest and the littlest, right? And so effectively, my youngest is an only child because,
mm,
like, they don't want her. And they give her like a dud Xbox when she won't shut, Xbox controller when she won't shut up. They give her one without batteries in when she
I
will
had
like,
that. I had that when I
yeah.
was.
Because like,
saying that
and
nothing's
she was
happening.
like, play with me, play with me, play with me. I was like, I'm not
Oh,
really good with playing. I can
Oh,
do activities. Let's craft
right.
or
Okay,
bake.
sorry.
but I'm not a play parent. And I used to feel
Oh,
bad about myself that I'm not a play parent. I'm not
Mm,
that person. I used to try, but I just can't do it. I can't. Like,
mm,
I want to do stuff with you. And I think that's part of my neurodivergence. Like, let's have a structured activity. Like,
mm,
do you want to feed me fake food? Absolutely. I will eat your fake food. But do you expect me to pretend? No. Yeah, so like I do get that. It's tricky really, isn't it? Because like there are
mm,
days where you're in a flow and there are days where you're not. There are days where all I get is a grunt,
yeah, me too.
and there are days where they want to talk your ear off.
Yeah.
You've just gotta roll with it.
So I think,
mm,
on those days when things are nice, when you're in like a good flow state and you're getting more than a grunt, you're getting like open communication, and the children are getting along. Those are the things that I really appreciate. And so
mm,
I feel like I'm taking like mental pictures of those moments, because I know that this is a moment today and then it's gone, and it
mm,
might not be back for another week or month. But I think that's what it's about, isn't it? Just finding like those moments in the chaos,
mm,
those, even if it's like for 10 seconds or an hour, like just that moment of being connected and having that conversation with your eldest or the middle child or the youngest. How was your day? And they really like want to communicate with you. That's what I really
mm,
appreciate. So when you were talking about like, the plastic, I think I used to want that, like, oh, I want to be like this, and it's gonna be like, good morning,
mm,
children, and let's go to. I don't have that. I'm never gonna have that, but
mm,
that's okay. But what I aspire to have is just for us to be really connected, because I want this to always be a safe space. I want my children to want to come
mm,
home, when they leave and live their own lives, to want to come home and know that this is a space where they feel safe and they can be
mm,
themselves and take the mask
Mm,
off, right?
mm,
And I want to just have as much fun with them, because they're growing so fast as well. Like, what's the point of
mm,
being regimented and not having fun? I think a little bit of chaos is nice,
mm.
isn't it? It adds a little bit of
It
like
is.
flavor to the day, if you see what I mean. So I just think for me, what I've learned a lot is to just sometimes just let it be what it is. Just let it be. It might
Mm,
not be perfect, but did we get it done? We did. Okay. We'll try again tomorrow. And I've also accepted it from a long time ago. I thought to myself, do you know what? My children might come to me when they're older and be like, can we talk? Because I remember when I was this age and you did that. Why did you do that? I need to be prepared to have those
mm,
conversations. Sadly, my mum's no longer alive, but I sometimes think, you know what, Mum, I wish you were here, because I want to ask you, why did you do that? Like, why could you not have
mm,
gone about it in a different way? Because this is what I do with my children now. So I think we're all on sort of like same wavelength wavelength in regards to like what would be seen as like gentle parenting, when it is
mm,
simply just taking time to just allow processing to happen, and for us to assess, did someone die? Is the house on fire? Okay, I don't need to explode. Because growing up,
mm,
everything was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that.
such
It
a
was so
drama.
reactionary. But now I'm just like, that's really bad for your body, and it's bad for them. So you were talking about like your daughter and the hair. In my mind, I was like, oh my gosh. And then you were like, okay. And I was like, wow, that's really powerful, isn't it? Like,
mm.
I got
okay,
smacked when I did it.
I,
I'll be real.
I won't be here having
This
this
is what I was.
conversation with you guys. Come
This
on.
is listen.
That happened
You
to
know
me.
the it's the emotional regulation thing of it though, because
Yes.
it's that was emotional dysregulation just
Yes.
flying off the handle,
Yeah.
and I think so much about that. Yeah.
Oh
I know.
yeah. Like I tell my mum all the time, I say you're ADHD. I
Yeah.
tell her
My
Oh
mum
well,
is
I have that
ADHD.
conversation.
all the time.
Yeah.
Because like the stuff that used to happen, and even now in her late 60s, I'm like, mother, why? Because like
I
I
love
got it
it.
from somewhere.
Very true.
Mm,
Very, very true. But isn't it great that our children won't have those experiences?
Oh yeah. That is
yeah.
like literally my biggest thing. I
It's like
want
massive
them
win.
to feel, and that's the thing, like they're allowed to rest at home. I know that sounds weird,
Oh.
Mm,
but like
mm,
when I was
mm.
younger, even if I was just reclining, have you done
Oh,
this? Have you done that? Have you done that?
honestly, honestly.
I
Honestly, it's
was
like,
like,
or even playing. It was just like,
yeah.
why are you playing? No, no playing. It's like they never like. Honestly, it's like they didn't want to see you happy or enjoying life.
Oh
In
my
their
God.
mind, in their mind is
Or
like,
put you to
what do you
task.
mean? It's no. There's
Yeah.
something that you need to be doing. There's something that you need to be doing. You need to be pacing your books, or you need to be cleaning something, or you need to be washing something, or you need to be cooking something. If you're not doing any of those things, you cannot do anything else. Similar to what you said, Lucy. Like when I look at my mum now, I'm like, babes, you have ADHD. Like, the
It's all right.
ADHD is really ADHD. Like you think she's listening, she's not listening. Like being able to be in a space where you, like as parents, you now know that this is what it is, and then you can't like your children being able to see that. Look, I was able to see my parent function as an ADHD parent, but also see all the everything, the flaws, the alls, and everything,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't. I wasn't treated in a way of like, no, you can't have fun, no, you can't, you have to show up in this perfectionate way as like you grow up. And I see it as like breaking that generational curse in a sense, because you're finally getting to, even though it's taking years and having a late diagnosis, you're getting to a point where you now know what it is, and
Yeah.
you're working through it, you're unmasking all of that stuff, but you're also learning this about yourself, and then you're allowing your children to learn that about you too.
I really liked what you said, Nadia, about um, preparing yourself for to have those conversations with your kids in the future. I think that's so powerful. I think it's such a, because I always think about I want them to come home. I want them to want to come home because that's always in my mind. At X point in time, X undefined point, you will have all the autonomy, all the choices. And so I'm working with that in mind. But
Yes.
but right, like
Yes.
as in, so like, I'm not trying to bribe you. Like I'm still gonna give, these are the values, but also I'm also mindful. Hey, at some point it's up to them. They might say, "Oh, mom, you did such a bad job. We're not seeing you again." And what will I say? There's actually nothing I would be able to say if that's what they decide. But obviously, I'm not aiming towards that. I'm aiming towards them being like, "Hey, mom, what's going on? Da, 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 you know this, whatever was happening." And da, da, da. But that idea of preparing yourself to have these conversations, I think that's really interesting because I think being able to acknowledge I tried my best and sometimes that wasn't the best for
Enough.
you.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, so I think that's really, really that really resonated with me, really hit me. Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, I know we're going to be like a really good generation of parents for that because I know when I say something, sometimes some people can be defensive. I was like,
Mm,
I'm not trying to throw you shade. I'm just saying this is my truth. This
Yes.
is how it
That.
made me feel,
Yes.
mm.
right? I'm not naming names um, because they will listen. Um,
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
fine.
saying, like you've got to be real about it. That like
Yes.
Mm.
I will fully expect my children to go to therapy and say my mother was too much.
That's fine.
I love that. And what a beautiful way to round off the episode. I honestly, I know that we could be here like talking forever, and just I'm listening to all of this stuff even as not a parent, and just hearing all the different things, and it's just so amazing to have you three ladies on. So I guess to kind of like round up and to recap about what we talked about and what we explored today, we talked about the double lens of parenting with ADHD, the mental and emotional load, and whew, there was some, I have to say. I guess managing too nervous, but then also the empathy and the strengths ADHD parenting can bring. So I guess to kind of just like round up, just wanted to say thank you so much to each one of you. You guys have brought so much wonderful joy, knowledge, and kind of experience to the conversation. It's been a pleasure to chat and to learn so much about each of you. Before you go, would you like to let our listeners know where they can connect with you? So I'll start off with you, Lucy, and then we can go around.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram as Oreos and Gin because those are my support systems in
Love
parenting.
it.
And and I'm on TikTok as Ocean Rainbow Noir. I mostly post about books because that's my thing. But I often talk about parenting sometimes and ADHD and all that stuff. So if you're into that, Come check me out.
Okay, yeah. So you can find me on Soul Knit Grow for most things. On Instagram, I think there's like a dot in between, so it's SOUL.KNIT.GROW. I forgot to say in my intro, I'm also a spoken word poet, so I am on TikTok on Fine Words Weave. You can find a lot about poetry, a lot of ramblings about ADHD. And between TikTok and Instagram, there's also things about therapy, about wellness, well-being. So it's a mishmash. And you can also find me on my website, www.soulknitgrow.com.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where you can connect with me. And it has been such a pleasure. Like,
Yeah.
this has been such a good conversation. Yeah.
Love it. And you, Nadia?
So, as I said at the beginning, I'm also an artist. So, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. My name is super_sentimental. And I also have a website, which is www.supersentimental.com, where I create and sell greeting cards and prints. So, please
Yeah.
come and stop by. I'd love to give you a little discount for the ADHD babes. So, yeah, you can find
I
me there.
love it. I love it. Thank you so much, ladies. And to our listeners, if you have found a sense of home here at ADHD Babes, consider supporting us. This can mean signing up as a member, donating, or even sharing this podcast, which is a great episode, with your people. Every bit helps us keep doing the beautiful work we do. Of course, join the conversation on our Discord or our WhatsApp group for members. Follow us on socials. We also have our own Instagram page, which is adhdbabes.pod, as well as ADHD Babes. Subscribe to our YouTube for video version of this podcast. And most importantly, stay connected. We are building this together. Thank you for listening and see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
ADHD Babes, the podcast, every 2 weeks on Wednesdays.